As we sort of alluded to, there's this element of leaning on brand, leaning on social, leaning on search at different times. I think historically we've been very siloed teams. So I think the big takeaway would be break down those barriers. And when you can work alongside your brand team, alongside your social team, and with your search team at the core to really treat SEO, search, and those aforementioned activities as a brand building activity together as a single digital unit. Hi guys, I'm Ashley Liddell, and this is SEO in 2026.
Ashley, what's your number one SEO tip for 2026?
I believe that we need to be treating SEO as more of a brand building activity and looking beyond our traditional sort of KPIs of can we gain visibility to be moving more towards can we make our brand the preferred choice within a conversation that's relevant to the brand. And as such, that'll make the brand front of mind and grow our brand awareness and brand presence.
So you talked about KPIs there as well. I mean, are you talking about building the number of searches for your brand and therefore increasing the organic traffic from the likes of Google for brand searches and then measuring success based upon that?
Exactly. Yeah. So I think the growth of brand search is a really interesting conversation at the moment. I think at a time where we're seeing traffic from organic search start to drop and AI and other LLM platforms are coming for our website traffic, brand search gives us a really good opportunity to retain that traffic where people are specifically coming and searching for us and then undoubtedly going to land on our website because they're closer to the point of conversion or closer to the point of action. So growing that brand search, growing the amount of people that are searching for us with not just our brand term, but brand term plus important search term or relevant search term is going to be really important.
And are you putting increased brand searches on other platforms like TikTok, YouTube, different LLMs as being something that is impacted by SEO activities?
Yeah, so we're very much platform agnostic. So our SEO doesn't just cover traditional search engines. So we are very much looking at opportunities on TikTok, Instagram, Reddit, Pinterest, and all of these sort of emerging platforms that are now part of the search journey. And we're saying if a brand is, or if an audience is searching for a solution, a problem, a pain point on that platform, can we conduct SEO activity on there that we would have traditionally done via blogs, via PLPs, whatever it is, back on our website on those platforms to grow that brand awareness and grow that presence and preference, really.
And do you also measure, like from an SEO perspective, organic discoverability as opposed to number of searches on a platform?
Yeah, so once we've established, okay, there's an increase of 10% in the branded search volume this month based on the activity that we've conducted across TikTok, YouTube, wherever it is. We're then looking, okay, well, what has that translated into? Which are the destinations that we've moved people onto? Which PLPs, which blogs, if it is a blog page that we've managed to move people onto? We're definitely more concerned with moving people to the pages that are closer to the point of conversion. So we are looking at those PLPs primarily to say, okay, we've moved people to this key landing page where it's a decision-making page.
So how do you measure moving someone to a product landing page from a platform like TikTok?
So from TikTok, it can get a little bit tricky. On certain platforms, we're able to deploy UTM links, which is great. On others, we are leaning on mention this creator at the point of conversion. So if someone has seen a TikTok creator has mentioned the brand and that's where they've discovered the brand, we're then calling that out with CRM activity post purchase or at the point of conversion to say, okay, I discovered your brand through TikTok, through YouTube, or through other social platforms. Obviously, attribution directly from saying, okay, this user has come directly from this TikTok video to this PLP is tougher, but that's where we lean on that growth in brand search as that middle destination. So it'll be user sees a video on TikTok, they then go and conduct a Google search or Bing search for brand plus the topic that was mentioned in that video. And if we see an increase in that, we have a good reason to believe or a good hypothesis that it's come on the back of that social search activity.
UTM links are interesting that you mentioned there as well. It's not something that you'd necessarily immediately associated SEO with. It's more of a paid search tool. Should all SEOs be embracing UTMs?
I wouldn't want to go out on a limb and say that all SEOs should be embracing them for sure. I think it works for us when we're working with content creators who are able to incorporate those links. It works for us when we're trying to gain features in listicles and almost like affiliate like publications. But yeah, for me to sort of say all SEOs should be embracing it would be a bit of a stretch. I think it fits your needs and your reporting goals, then absolutely we've found huge benefits there. But yeah, it's got to fit the need of the account and the client.
Okay, but if you did have a trackable link on, I don't know, TikTok, YouTube, or different other platforms, is there any way that it's going to have a positive organic slash ranking benefit on the likes of Google because of the link or because of the increased traffic through the link?
We can get into the engagement side a little bit, to be fair. Obviously, from the Google leaks that we've had over the last 18 months, we've started to realize that engagement is a good signal to be sending to Google that's going to facilitate further improved rankings across your site. So if we can drive brand search and then drive brand search engagement, it's our belief that that's only going to have a positive impact on the rest of your website's rankings and visibility. So yes, we do sort of say to brands, look, if you're able to drive these brand searches on the back of stuff, it will facilitate non-brand visibility improvements. I think that the value of a number one ranking or a number one visibility piece of content on a traditional SERP is declining. I think that many SEOs are starting to recognize that due to organic listings just continually getting pushed down the SERP. And that's why we're sort of pushing this idea of that SERP is almost becoming hyper competitive, almost too competitive. Let's use our discovery across other platforms to drive these brand searches where competition is going to be easier for you to own the conversation.
So how do you make your brand more searched? How do you encourage more people to search brand name and keyword term?
So for us, it's by handling and owning that discovery stage across the various platforms that make up a search journey. So we will establish which platforms our audience for a specific brand are expecting brands to show up upon. So if we use fashion brands, for example, that would almost always be TikTok, Instagram, Pinterest, and arguably YouTube Shorts. Once we've established that they are the platforms that you need to be surfaced on, you need to have a voice within, we ideate content that's at that top into the middle of funnel. It's owning those discovery layer conversations. So as a quick example, within the fashion space, it would be fit checks, it would be flat lays on Pinterest, it would be how to style this product or this hoodie, for example. And once we've owned that stage and we've inspired users by putting our brand's products at the heart of that discovery, that's then going to lead to a Google search for this hoodie, for example, because we've showed a user how to style it. And we know that conversions are still very likely to take place back on the website at the moment. So that brand search needs to happen for conversions to take place.
Yeah, but the brand search obviously happens in many different places nowadays. It can happen directly on LLMs as well now. What are your thoughts on what content you would wish to be displayed in LLMs and how you can possibly control that and obviously measure the impact and the value of that happening?
So for us, right, there's two ways to look at this. There's the right now, and there's where I expect AI and LLMs to go. I mean, it could be by the end of 2026, to be fair. So we'll get into that in a second. But for right now, early 2026, I would say that you want your brand to be serviced or served, I should say, in all of the publications where audiences are going to be looking for your brand to be mentioned. So if that's publications on the best streetwear brand of 2026, if that's the best SaaS tools of 2026 for a given pain point, you need to be owning your brand's presence within those listicles so that you are more likely to be cited and referenced within the AI and the LLM responses to queries. I think that is where attention should be in the short term. It's trying to attain brand mentioned in those listicles because it's those that are being scraped, cited, however you want to describe it, and then ultimately serviced or served to users in the AI and LLM platforms. So that's where I'd be looking to earn right now. And then in the future, I can't look past agentic search. I think that it's going to be very personalized. I think that the search engine, whichever search engine ultimately wins the battle, will have ultra awareness of what content you've engaged with across platforms and your typical user journey and your preferences and your personal choices. And it will just serve results based on what it served you in the past and what you've enjoyed in the past, almost like a mini social media algorithm, if you like. And at that point, it's very much about getting your brand over with users as quickly and as early as you can in a user journey, so that the agentic model learns that a user enjoys your content or enjoys your products.
You say it's going to be very personalized. I mean, what does that mean from a tracking perspective? How can you possibly actually have any data in terms of the types of queries that people are likely to be searching or asking LLMs?
I think that we are going to see a shift to, obviously we've had search volumes, we've had keywords, and we've been able to cluster those keywords into topics for the longest time. I think that that's going to start to, I don't want to say deteriorate, but definitely dwindle. And our ability to track those searches is going to dwindle, because the way that I may prompt an AI and LLM to serve me a response is going to be completely different to the way you or another brand's user may prompt that AI. I think what we'll get is we will have key pain points that are going to be serviced or served again in many different prompts, and we'll be looking to earn those key phrases, almost like keywords, long tail keywords, and it'll be about earning those. And it may be that that becomes a search volume conversation. We may be able to get search volumes for those queries specifically, but if not, it'll be leaning on our brand team and our internal team and our internal comms to understand our specific customers' pain points and meet the needs of those, and go based off surveys, CRM responses and things like that, interviews with our persona profiles.
You also say that improved brand presence can act as a proxy for trust development, relevance in conversations. How do you actually measure the value of trust, improved trust?
Yeah, that's going to be a conversation for not just the SEO team, but I think that's where the SEO team can start to lean on the social team a little bit. So we've got social listening tools, which are going to help with those sentiment values that we're seeing in comments and in general interactions. We'll be able to lean on the customer service team to say, okay, talk to me about how customers view our brand, how you're seeing that. And we'll all almost combine all of those facets to come up with a single solution on how people perceive our brand. And then obviously in terms of AI and LLMs, it will come down to the most trusted brands will be the most cited brands and the most referenced brands. And that will be a signal of you are trusted within ChatGPT, Perplexity, whatever platform. And then back on Google search, it will be the same for AI mode. It will be the same for featured snippets, and then the traditional SERP if that exists into and beyond 2026.
Okay, and it's also obviously utilizing many traditional marketing methods, marketing tools, and something that was part of traditional marketing, that is part of traditional marketing, is offline influence as well. So how can SEOs, in this brand uplift desire, also harness the power maybe of offline activities to positively impact the way that brand is searched for, and ultimately obviously drive traffic towards the website on an organic basis?
Yeah, it's a super interesting point, to be fair. And I think certain TV ads have started to recognize that opportunity a little bit, where they're encouraging people as the CTA at the end of a television ad. They'll encourage you to search for the brand. I think eBay is a really good example, who were essentially encouraging users to go onto eBay and search for eBay pre-loved. So that's a really good example of TV then moving people into that search journey, into that brand search. In terms of IRL, in terms of physical stores, I think it is a matter of deploying, what's the word, like store activations that again encourage people to head online to discover certain things. At the end of the day, there's only so much floor space in stores. You can't put every lookbook onto your store front, but you can put a call to action that encourages users to brand search or head to the website to then see an extended lookbook or an extended breakdown of why this hoodie is the hoodie for you, for example. So I think it will be in that sort of call to action model of, instead of just getting people to sign up to a newsletter or head onto the website, it will be go and take a brand search because of the benefits that we've sort of outlined previously.
I'd like to add on another example, and obviously we're producing content for SEO in 2026. You know, that was the for people watching on video, that was the last book, SEO in 2025. But for people to actually go to events like Brighton SEO or other SEO events and visit Majestic and actually pick up a hard copy of the book that adds a lot of value to their knowledge, and then just gradually associate the brand Majestic with that content as well, so that you know, when they're ready to maybe consider SEO software, that perhaps Majestic's more top of mind. I think that kind of offline marketing or simple merchandise that you're offering someone when you're visiting them face to face offers incredible value that's hard to measure, but obviously has some significant impact along the way.
Yeah, I agree. And I think with that type of activity, there's no real reason that brand search as a KPI can't be deployed for physical activations as well. So whether it is you've done a pop-up store, whether it is you've done a London Underground activation or been at a conference handing out merchandise, if you then see an uplift in brand search, that then starts to become almost not a completely tangible insight into success. But if your brand is searched for 1,000 times a month, you do that type of activity, and then in the month following, you're searched for 1,300 times, 1,400 times. That's an indicator of success because it means more people have seen your activations, they've took note, and then they've searched for your brand. So yeah, I don't see why brand search can't be deployed as a KPI for non-offline activity as well as search activity.
Ashley, what's the key takeaway from the tip you shared today?
I'd say that the key takeaway, as we sort of alluded to, there's this element of leaning on brand, leaning on social, leaning on search at different times. I think historically we've been very siloed teams. So I think the big takeaway would be break down those barriers. And when you can work alongside your brand team, alongside your social team, and with your search team at the core to really treat SEO, search, and those aforementioned activities as a brand building activity together as a single digital unit.
Ashley Liddell is a Search Everywhere director and founder. Find out more over at wearedeviation.co.uk. Ashley, thanks so much for being part of SEO in 2026.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
I've been your host, David Bain. Get your copy of SEO in 2026, the book, over at seoin2026.com.